Are you a beginner in embroidery? Here are the tips and tricks to make your embroidery work stand out. Today, we will be making mushrooms with moss. Watch the video till the end so that you don't miss out any important points. The first thing I always do is have a reference photo in front of me. When we work, it helps us to understand the shape, the color combinations, the shadows, and the proportions. Where to get a reference photo from? You can simply draw and color your own ideas on a paper like I did here. Go through online. There are many royalty-free websites you can go through. Walk around, go outside, explore, and take photographs of the things that you are getting inspired by. And like always, the main source that is been from the long time, that is books and magazines. So you can just go through them, find out a particular picture that is inspiring you, keep it in front of you, and start working. So once I have the reference photo in front of me, I'm going to carefully study the shape. I'm going to study the proportion of the picture, and I'm going to understand and analyze where are the shadows forming, where are the highlights. I'm going to focus that, and which colors will I choose to for the highlights, and which colors I will use for the shadows, and what is the actual hue of my design. As a beginner, I always used to get confused where to start, how to blend. So I came up with this line system to divide my work and understand it in better way. Basically, we are working on a concept of vertical and horizontal line. I'm dividing the shape vertically. That becomes the direction in which my stitch will be going. Okay, so that's the direction of the stitch, and the horizontal lines will be the place where the colors are changing. For example, I'm using a highlight, a lighter color. Then I'm going to use one step darker, or I'm going to use the actual color of the mushroom. So I'm going to transfer from light to the hue at this horizontal line. So those are the places where there will be a shift of color from the lighter shades to the darker shades, or darker shades to the lighter shades, whichever way. Now, if you notice, the lines are not straight. They are according to the shape of the object. As for the moss here, there is no particular direction. We will make the stitches randomly here. We're preparing our work on a paper. If you're good at drawing, just simply start drawing. Otherwise, you can trace it. So once I've traced this design on a paper, now I'm going to transfer this exactly the same onto the fabric, making sure all those details of the lines that we've given are being transferred onto the fabric. Alright, I'm using a tracing light over here. You can use a carbon paper or an ink method, whichever way you're comfortable with. Now these lines, the vertical lines will be the direction of the stitch, and the horizontal line is the point where the two different colors will meet. This will be the area where the highlight will be. These lines have actually created parts. So let's focus on one part at a time. So I'm going to take the center of the part, then center of these two lines, then the center of these two lines until it's covered with the floss. So now you notice the direction of the stitch, it's according to the shape. Alright, now this method helped me a lot as a beginner. It might use a little more of the floss, but it helps in understanding the direction of the stitch. Once you get an idea of how it's done, you can start from corner. Once done with the highlight, I will start with the hue. Now the method is the same. Take the center of the part and again fill the center of each line. The length of the stitch will be the horizontal lines here. It's the same long and short stitch. Now I'm going to cover this area with shade. I would like to tell you an important point here. This has to blend with the upper part. So the more deep I take the stitch into the previous part, the more blend it will be. The lesser the length of the stitch with the previous part will create a short blend. So depending on your reference photo, if you can see a color getting changed quickly, then you have to take short steps of the stitches. But if the color is gradually taking its time to blend to start the other color, that means the stitch length has to be longer. Alright, again the same center line method. And here is a blend. I'm going to do the same for all the parts. Once done, we'll create the spots at the mushroom. A single stitch randomly placed, giving an extra single stitch close to the dots to create a shadow. Let's start making the stem. Same method, starting with the shadows, long and short stitch, center line method. To create an emboss effect, I'm using lazy daisy stitch here. You can see the depth that has been created using a lazy daisy stitch. Again, long and short stitch and the center method, I'm going to finish the stem off. Adding black lines to a design, I feel it gives a clear definition to the design. Doing a back stitch here, we won't take a complete outline, only at the places where shadows are forming. In the end, to create a moss, starting with the darkest shade, here I'm twisting the floss a lot. Floss would wind around a stitch. Start using the lighter shades. The stitches are more randomly done here. I'm also going to make few French knots. And here it's done. I hope you liked it, and please do let us know if there's anything that you wish to learn. See you next time. Bye.